You know, I started watching Sex and the City last year during this time, and I really wish I could rewatch it again for the first time because the way it changed my brain chemistry, I really wasn't expecting, but I loved it. So Carrie gets a lot of hate on this app, which, yes, justified, but I think she's so critical to the show not only because she is the main character, she is the narrator. She is the epitome of an unevolved, unhealed Libra sun. You know, she's a creative genius, she's a writer, she puts a lot of effort into how she looks and her style. That one episode where she walks the runway for one of her fashion show director friends, epitome of Libra. But I think she's so critical to the show because we can all relate to her. We have all been a Carrie at some point in our lives in different ways. And, you know, she's constantly searching for this external validation from Big, but also from her friends. She's constantly asking her friends what to do. I think one of the scenes that stood out to me is that one where she's trying to decipher that phone call from Big in the first season, and she has Miranda listen to it, and I think in the narration they're saying that like Miranda was like the top of her class for like a communications class, and she couldn't even like decipher what if he wanted to go out for a date or he just wanted to go out for drinks as a friend. But it's a cautionary tale because it shows what happens when you don't heal and confront your own wounds, especially when someone's holding up a mirror to your actions. And I think Charlotte definitely did that for Carrie. I think as the show went on, Carrie progressively got more envious of Charlotte because Charlotte, despite her flaws, definitely went after what she wanted and knew what she wanted and eventually almost always obtained it. But it was also because Charlotte would drop a man because he smelled wrong. I think there was an episode where Charlotte went out with a guy on the first date and they kissed and he was a bad kisser. And then Samantha was like, well, you should dump him if he's a bad kisser. He's going to be bad in bed. And so Charlotte tried to like give him some direction on how to kiss her on the second date, and he didn't take it. So she dropped him. But I don't think Carrie would have ever done that. I will say, I think when she dated the politician, they didn't like show them actually breaking up, but she did blast him in her column, so I can appreciate her for that. And also when she dated Wade, the little like the stoner boy who had the comic book store and still lived with his parents, they didn't like show official breakup scene. They got caught smoking in his parents' apartment, and then she took fault for bringing the lettuce into the house, even though it was Wade's, and then she took the bag on her way out, and then all of it with her friends, so I can appreciate her for that as well. But I saw someone on here say that she's a Libra sun with a Leo moon, and I would have to agree because, again, with the validation, searching for it in her clothes, how she looks, in her spending money on all those shoes, and then it's also like anytime there's any type of safety within a relationship, she freaks out. She tends to not like it. I'm not an Aiden stan, but there were a couple times when Aiden, like for example, when he bought her that flash drive, I think for her computer, so she could, or he bought her a new computer too, so that she could, save all of her work because she accidentally like wiped all of her work on her past computer, and she freaked out. And I think it's because, well, I don't think she wanted Aiden to do that for her in the first place, but she definitely is someone who like she wanted to figure that out on her own, and I think maybe that's why she she was so triggered by it, but there's other parts of that dynamic I think that affected it, but I won't go into that right now. But Carrie, there's actually, I think, a lot to like about her, but it's overridden by her need for validation and what happens when you live a full 10 years seeking validation from a man who never fully gives it to her. And even after he passes, he doesn't give it to her because he gives $1 million to his ex, Natasha. I can't say that I really liked any of the dynamics between her and the men that she dated on the show. Like, I can't pick one that I really liked out of all of them. I will say, like, with the politician before the whole golden showers thing, I thought their dynamic was actually, like, okay, besides the fact she was extremely avoidant at first, because that was right after, I think, her first breakup with Big. And then with Berger, I think that Berger was Aiden after Carrie broke up with him for the first time. He was like Aiden 3.0, I guess. But I think that Carrie actually, like, in that relationship, after they got together, she did voice her needs and her wants sometimes, but then eventually she figured out that Berger's self-deprecating humor was not a joke, and that ultimately was the downfall of their relationship. But I also thought it was crazy that he told her what happened with his ex and that she cheated on him, and she thought it was a good idea to still be with him, and then said that, like, when they woke up in the middle of the night, and he was, like, talking about how Lauren, his ex, broke his heart, and Carrie, he asked her, like, have you ever had your heart broken? And I think it's alluding that she goes and talks about Aiden. I'm not sure if it's about Big or Aiden, but I always thought that was strange. Because, babes, you cheated on him and then begged for him to get back with you only. I really think that she wanted Aiden back again for validation, but also to make Big jealous again. And to get back at him. But Carrie, well, I've always been a bit of a Carrie. I have a bit of Carrie in my heart. An evolved Carrie, I hope to say, but this woman, really, she does hold the show together.